and they got off some quick starts, and it was a good thing for him, and something for him to build on moving forward.
Mitch, I wanted to ask you about Josh Primo. It's certainly good to see him, and he's hitting some minutes down in crunch time. How important is it for him as a young player to be on the floor late in a tight game like this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for all of our guys, it's so important for them individually and as a collective group because they got to figure it out together. And Primo, obviously, as you said, it's just so much for his development. And, there's no way to get experience without getting it. And we're getting it right now.
Mitch, final question. That deals with James Borrego, obviously, a guy that learned a lot under Pop with 2 different stints with the Spurs organization. When you play Charlotte, do you see a lot of similar stuff than what you run?
Yeah, for sure. Just in terms of move the ball, play the right way. They do a great job over there, really kind of taking advantage of all the firepower they have on offense and looking for mismatches and doing a great job. And Borrego, he's a lot of credit.
Hey, Mitch, thanks very much for the time. We certainly do appreciate it. Safe travels back to San Antonio.
Thank you.
Okay, that is Mitch Johnson, assistant coach for the Spurs. 123-117, the final score. Charlotte with a win over the Spurs. We gave you the Spurs individual scoring. Let's take a look at Charlotte. They were led by Terry Rozier. He had 5 threes in the third quarter, and he has 6 for the ballgame, 6 of 8 from three-point range, 31 points. 6 assists and 5 rebounds, 10 of 18 overall on the field for Terry Rozier as he led the way for Charlotte this evening. LaMelo Ball was 7 of 16. He had 24 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. 15 points for P.J. Washington, 10 points, 6 boards, 6 assists for Miles Bridges, 4 points and 13 rebounds, 3 assists and a block for Mason Plumlee. Terry Rozier, of course, the big player tonight for Charlotte. Off the bench, Cody Martin at 12. 15 points and 6 rebounds for Montrezl Harrell. Kelly Oubre played 25 minutes. He had 12 points on 3 of 12 shooting. And J.T. Thor played 5 minutes but did not score. And that's up to 123 for Charlotte, 117 for the Spurs. And again, the Spurs will return to action Monday night starting a 7-game homestand against the LA Lakers. And we'll be on the air at 7 o'clock, 7:30 tip. Spurs and Lakers Monday night from the AT&T Center. 4 straight losses now for the Spurs. They're down to 24-40, and we will have more when Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the Cheetah Savannah.
All right, that's Bill Schoening. Tough loss tonight for the Spurs. Spurs fall to the Charlotte Hornets 123-117. This is Spurs React. I'm Chris Duel. Joe Garcia, welcome in. Luisa Alanis, welcome. Joe, I'm glad you like the hat. I was going to celebrate with you and everybody else, Pops, tying Don Nelson tonight. That'll have to wait for Monday night as the Spurs take on the Lakers. Jimmy Munoz from Midland, Texas. Welcome in, Jimmy. Good to have you in here from Midland. Leland Bruce, what is up? Another tough loss, says Leland. Terry Rozier, 31. Yep. Keldon Johnson, the career high 33. So hopefully we beat the Lakers. David Valles tanking for Bronny. Yeah, Bronny's still 2 years away, as you know, David. But you get Bronny, you get LeBron. Frank Ramirez says no bueno. Hello, Patrick Burns. Better check something with Mike. He still has another, right? Okay. Yeah, I got a Spurs shirt going on. I got my brand new In Pop We Trust hat. Here's Bill.
Broadcast tonight's ball game. The Spurs fall tonight to Charlotte, 123-117. Right now, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the San Antonio Spurs Radio Network.
News Radio 1200 WOAI, San Antonio's breaking news, traffic, and weather.
Whataburger what's next? The Spurs will take on the LA Lakers Monday night to start at homestand. 7:30 start, and we'll be on the air at 7 o'clock with Spurs Radio Game Night. That game televised by Valley Sports. Valley Sports has the next 3. Wednesday against Toronto, that's a 7:30 start. As is the Friday night game against Utah. All those games on Valley, and of course also in Spanish on KXPN. That is 107.5 with our amigo Paul Castro, and here on the Spurs Radio Network. Again, the final tonight from Charlotte, 123-117. The Hornets with the win over the Spurs. This is Spurs Radio.
All right, that was Bill. We'll start our portion here in a moment. Alexander, welcome in. Rubiana says, annoying loss, no excuse to keep giving games away with poor execution. Yeah, they were looking so good on the rodeo road trip, and now they've lost 4 in a row. This is no fun. Leland Bruce citing Kelvin 33.
The little thing that I love about the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is when I take a bite, it's the perfect blend from the bacon to the cheese.
What are you thinking?
Hey,
7 to 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And you're in, right?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to finish up, but I should be good to go.
Cheese every time.
Cool, because you're on camera and your adoring fans, want to see you.
I mean, they're looking at me so they can see me. I think what you're saying.
Well, they want to hear your words of wisdom. They want to hear your Mr. Rogers, the butcher's perspective on tonight's loss.
It's a damn praise.
A lot of failure doctors.
Yeah, you make 2 and we're going to overtime. You're 0 for 9 in the fourth quarter.
0 for 10. Was 0 for 10.
Was it 0 for 10? Damn it.
It's my family, my business, and my bank.
AT&T Bank, the division of Science Bank Corporation and a member FDIC.
This is what's happening.
Okay, so this is me, right? Okay. All right, I have to do a segment here on the post game. Headphones were a good idea. Hello, Alexander, Mariana. Probably pronounced better that way. From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel. Final score from Charlotte. The Charlotte Hornets beat the San Antonio Spurs 123-117. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Our Spurs React with Michael Bartlett and myself is moments away from going on the airwaves. We do stream live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages if you want to participate in the live video. First, let's get you caught up on the NBA scoreboard. 5 other games in the NBA tonight. First, the games in progress. Midway third quarter in Miami, Heat lead the Philadelphia 76ers 65-55. 147 to go in the third quarter at Memphis. It's all Grizzlies 94-68 over the Orlando Magic. Midway third quarter in Minneapolis, a tight one. Timberwolves lead the Portland Trail Blazers 78-76. Nationally televised game on ABC television, 1:15 before halftime, and the Golden State Warriors lead the Los Angeles Lakers 65-54. A final from earlier, come from behind Mavericks win at home tonight with a Dorian Finney-Smith three-point shot with 3 seconds left. Mavericks beat the Sacramento Kings 114-113. Once again, on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI, and streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. Our Spurs React is coming right up. You'll hear Michael Bartlett's reaction. We can hear your reaction as well. That is coming up after a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening, where he broadcast remotely this evening as the Spurs fell at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, 123-117. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Brought to you by Capital One Shop.
All right. Joanne Hernandez. One more time.
We can actually take phone calls.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. If we get any, now that we've taken, we'll see if we get any.
I hope it's an inspiration to girls out there, being the first woman to coach an NBA team.
Yeah, we are taking phone calls tonight. I'm in the main studio. It's a lot tougher in the other studio. So
protecting your assets, SWBC is here to support your next steps toward financial success with personalized service.
Joanne not liking the 40 losses. I don't think a lot of Spurs fans like the 40 losses either. LeBron and the Lakers coming to town on Monday night. Spurs will be home for 7 in a row. It's a 7-game homestand. if they can start to take care of business at home, that would be nice.
Witness tomorrow's All-Stars of the San Antonio Spurs with the NBA G League's Austin Spurs. All season at the AT&T Center. Tickets start at $15. To score yours, go to austinspurs.com. New spicy lovers pizza from Pizza Hut.
You're good to go?
Yeah, maybe thumbs up. He's just now giving me
Okay.
thumbs up. I'll give me thumbs up.
Patrick Burns, LeBron on Monday. Lakers not playing well. Here's Bill.
Along with Leo Resendez, our broadcast engineer was Sam Walters. Our statistician, Walters Jones. Next game, the Spurs against the Lakers 7:30 at the AT&T Center. Monday night, we'll be on the other side of the clock with Spurs Radio Game Night. As always, for all things Spurs, follow us on Twitter, Spurs.com, or the Spurs app. Our studio producer is Mike Bartlett. Our studio host is Chris Duel. This is Bill Sheldon. Thank you for joining us this evening. The final score, Charlotte 123, San Antonio 117. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment and the National Basketball Association. All rights reserved. Good night, everybody.
Spurs Radio Game Night Rewind has been brought to you by AT&T.
All right. Nicole says another tough loss. Yeah. Gosh, they were looking so good on the rodeo road trip. And then, I was adding in the game before the rodeo road trip to beat the Houston Rockets at the AT&T Center. So they were 5-4. 5 out of 9, and they were going to should have beat Sacramento at home. They would have won 6 out of 10. Hey, Bill Brendel. The great Bill Brendel is in here. Can't believe we don't have one fourth quarter comeback all year. Is that right? That can't be right, Bill. Bill Brendel, hope you're doing well. Bill's been one more time? 50, gotcha. Okay. So, and you're good at any time.
I'll go real quick.
Okay. So, I'll just reset, go to you, and then by the time we do that, I'll do a couple, you do 3 or 4, and then I'll wrap it. Here we go.
50. On the home of the Spurs, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.
From the Spurs Net Center, I'm Chris Duel, along with Michael Bartlett. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Tough loss tonight for the San Antonio Spurs. This game was tied at 107-107. And then down the stretch, Charlotte made the key shots down the stretch. One of the biggest stats, and we'll talk about it. Spurs were 0 of 10 from three-point range in the fourth quarter. You take 10 three-point shots, you don't hit any. You hit 2, that would be 20%. That's not even a good percentage. But if you hit 2 three-point shots, maybe this thing goes to overtime because you lost by 6. Final score, Charlotte 123, the Spurs 117. I'm Chris Duel. We'll go to Michael Bartlett in a moment. If you want to jump in here on the phone lines, you are welcome to do so. 210-737-1200. If you're in the San Antonio area, if you're outside San Antonio, we got an 800 number, so we pay for the call, 800-383-WOAI. You can join us that way. We'll look at some of the numbers tonight. This was another one of those games that the Spurs could have won. They fought hard, and then they lost by single digits. We've seen a lot of these. And interestingly, the Spurs did, I think, very well on the rodeo road trip. They were 4-4. They had a chance to go 5-3 on the rodeo road trip had they won that game. And they won the game before the rodeo road trip. So coming off the rodeo road trip, Spurs had won 5 out of 9 games, and we're facing the Sacramento Kings at the AT&T Center. That's a game you think the Spurs should win, but they did not. So now all of a sudden, the Spurs have lost 4 in a row. Their overall record right now is 24-40. They are 13-21 on the road. A good number for the Spurs tonight. Keldon Johnson, my goodness gracious, he looked phenomenal tonight. He goes for a career high 33. But you lose the game. Charlotte sweeps the series, the season series, and the glaring number for the Spurs, 0-10 from three-point country. Let me give you a couple of numbers, then we'll check in with Michael Bartlett. Big number statistically for the Spurs. Keldon Johnson, 33 points, 8 rebounds. DeJounte Murray, spectacular again, a double-double for him as well. Nearly a triple-double. DeJounte had 25 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. One more rebound, and DeJounte would have yet another triple-double. Other Spurs, double figures. Jakob Poeltl had 11 points. Devin Vassell had 14 points. And one player off the bench had 10. That was Josh Primo. In Josh Primo's 25 minutes, he looked pretty good. 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 5 from three-point country, 6 rebounds and 2 assists for Josh Primo. I'd say give it up for Josh Primo tonight. But the Spurs are not happy with this loss, and I know Spurs fans aren't either. 123-117, Charlotte beats the Spurs. I know another man who is not happy with this loss. When they win, he is the Mr. Rogers of Sports Talk Radio. It's always a beautiful day in his neighborhood when the Spurs win. But when they lose, he turns into Michael the Butcher Bartlett. Mike Bartlett, you said to me, and I hope you don't mind, I'm going to pull back the curtain. You said early fourth quarter, you said Keldon Johnson will not allow this team to lose tonight. You said that emphatically, and I believed you, and I believed the Spurs were going to win this one, but they let it get away.
Yeah, unfortunately they did. I did say that. Keldon was on a mission tonight. Keldon was on a mission because you could clearly see he was not happy with his performance in the previous game against the Kings. He wasn't injured. Only played about 16 minutes and just was bad. He came out just motoring, the nickname that Pop has given him. He was the Mustang. He was all over the place. He was just 0 to 60 in like half a second. It was impressive. And I'm you brought up Josh Primo, the rookie, getting clutch time. Getting clutch time minutes over maybe Lonnie Walker or somebody else. Lonnie, unfortunately came back down to reality. Lonnie only 2 of 5 or 2 of 8, 5 points. I'm not going to bag on Lonnie for that. He's been playing out of his mind the past couple of games, 20 plus straight in the past, I think 4 or 5. Our guy, Dougie McBuckets, unfortunately, another bad performance tonight. 2 of 7, 1 of 5 from 3, only 8 points. That's 2 games where, Doug McDermott really didn't do what, we need him to do. And basically, you pointed it out. In the fourth quarter, if you make 1 or 2 3-pointers, this is a completely different ball game. Obviously, you make 2, it's tied up, but even if you just make 1, you don't know what that does to the flow of the ball game, because this was a back and forth ball game. This was even as a Spurs fan, yes, we don't like the results, but this was a fun game to watch and a fun game to listen to, because it was back and forth, tied up and down. Nobody really got a dramatic lead. Charlotte got it up to a 10 at one point, but then in that third quarter, the Spurs closed out that quarter. I think it was an 8-2 to 10 or 10-2 run to get it back down to 2 points. You had pointed it out. The first 2 quarters, they scored the exact same points. It was 30-31. Second quarter, 30-31. Third quarter, it was 37 all, and it was the fourth quarter. Charlotte 24, we only scored 20. So it was a fun game to listen to. It was up and down, back and forth. It was a very close ball game. But unfortunately, you got to make 3-pointers in this league. Now, this is a 3-point shooting league, and, you can't not make a 3-point shot in the fourth quarter.
Tough loss for the Spurs. They fall to the Charlotte Hornets 123-117. Now, if the Spurs can start winning some games at home, there is a 7-game homestand coming up, beginning Monday night against the Los Angeles Lakers. If you know anything about how the Lakers are playing right now, the Lakers are beatable. So hopefully the Spurs, after this 4-game losing streak, will turn things around. We will see you on Monday night. Tip off at the AT&T Center just after 7:30. That means Spurs radio game night with Bill Schoening, 7 o'clock on Monday night. For Bill Schoening, beginning his quest for 3,000. 2001, a broadcast odyssey tonight for Bill Schoening in consecutive games. Also, statistician Walter Stoops, on-site engineer Sam Walters, the man you just heard from, Mr. Michael Bartlett. For those gentlemen, I'm Chris Duel. Once again, the final score, Charlotte 123, Spurs 117. You've been listening to Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI.